Why some countries never recover from collapse. Some countries collapse and recover within a generation. Others collapse and never truly return. History shows that economic collapse alone does not determine a country's future. What matters is what collapses with it. In the aftermath of World War II, Germany and Japan were physically destroyed. Cities lay in ruins. Industries were gone. Yet within decades, both countries rebuilt. Their recovery was not driven by wealth. It was driven by institutions. Collapse becomes permanent when institutions fail. Institutions are not buildings or laws on paper. They are systems people trust, courts that function, currencies that hold value, states that can enforce rules without fear or favoritism. When these systems collapse, money alone cannot restore them. Many countries experience economic shock, but only some cross the threshold where recovery becomes unlikely. That threshold is institutional collapse. When governments lose the ability to collect revenue, enforce contracts, or manage basic services, the economy no longer operates as a system. It fragments. Markets turn informal. Trust disappears. Survival replaces productivity. At this stage, collapse becomes self-reinforcing. Another critical factor is human capital. When economies fail, people leave. But when institutions fail, those people do not return. Doctors, engineers, teachers, entrepreneurs. This loss is not temporary. It reshapes a country's future for generations. Once skilled workers rebuild their lives elsewhere, the incentives to return disappear. The country loses not only labor, but memory, expertise, and continuity. This is why population loss is more damaging than capital loss. Money can be borrowed. People cannot be replaced. External assistance is often seen as a solution, but in many cases, it becomes another trap. Aid can stabilize short-term crises, but when it replaces domestic capacity, it weakens accountability. Governments become accountable to donors instead of citizens. Economic policy becomes reactive instead of strategic. Over time, dependence hardens. Recovery requires internal legitimacy. No amount of external funding can substitute for it. Venezuela illustrates this pattern clearly. The collapse did not begin with sanctions or oil price shocks. It began when institutions lost credibility. Currency controls distorted markets. Independent bodies lost authority. Economic decisions became political tools. When the economy collapsed, millions left. Those who remained adapted to survival economies. This was not a temporary shock. It was a systemic breakdown. Lebanon followed a similar path. For years, financial inflows masked institutional weakness. When the system broke, trust evaporated overnight. Banks failed. Savings disappeared. The social contract collapsed. Sri Lanka offers another example. Debt dependency delayed reform. When reserves vanished, the state lost control. Shortages followed. Confidence collapsed. The pattern repeats across regions. Permanent collapse is not about poverty. It is about trust. When people stop believing that systems will work tomorrow, they stop investing in the future. Recovery requires rebuilding credibility before rebuilding growth. This is why some countries never fully recover. Not because collapse is inevitable, but because once systems break, rebuilding them requires time, legitimacy, and political will. And those are far harder to restore than money.